Okay, we're back, and we're here in Arlington, Texas. And you're probably wondering, it looks like I'm in a stadium, right? Well, let me flip the camera and I'll show you exactly where we're at. Ladies and gentlemen, this is AT&T Stadium, the home of the Dallas Cowboys. And holy moly, this place is freaking huge. Up there, well, you can't really see it, but that is the Ring of Honor. Those are some of the greatest Cowboys that ever played and coached and managed as well. So let me flip the camera here. I'm going to tell you all a little bit of story. Now, the Dallas Cowboys, you know, it is America's team. They've been termed as America's team. Whether you like them or not, you know, you have to respect what they've done. You know, since 1960, since the first year that they played in the NFL. They were an expansion team in 1960 along with along with the whole AFL and the Texans, which eventually became the hold on a second. The Texans, which eventually became the Kansas City Chiefs, were playing basically in the same field at the Cotton Bowl. And then they moved Irving to Texas Stadium, and then they moved right here. Now, I mentioned the Ring of Honor because, you know, the one thing that I appreciate from the Cowboys is the legacy and respect to the players, whether you are not a fan of them or whether you're a fan of them, be a huge fan of them. But when I think about names that are up on the Ring of Honor, like Don Meredith, Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, Troy Aikman. Yep, I'm talking Troy Aikman. Michael Irvin, and of course coaches Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson. You know, you got to respect these guys for what they've done. Now I want to flip the camera here. Well, everybody wants to be on the star. Wow. Here we go. Which brings me to the story. Now, some of you know that I have lived in the Washington, D.C. area for a few years in the late 90s. And one of the things I found that was weird was the fact that there were some people in the D.C. area that were adamant Cowboy fans. Well, it goes back to 1960. 1960 being the expansion year for the Dallas Cowboys. And the big thing that was happening in the NFL was integration, meaning that African-American players were able to play on an equal basis. And the Dallas Cowboys, being an expansion team, were right off the bat bringing in African-American players to play. So the interesting part about that story is the Washington Redskins in our nation's capital never, I repeat, never brought in an African-American player until 1961 because of the racism, and yes, we're going to call it racism, of the Redskins and of George Marshall, the owner. The African-American community in the Washington, D.C. area, you can't fault them for being Cowboy fans. We give David Cowboy fans just as a protest against the Washington Redskins, which I found very interesting because you would think that you would be supportive of the whole local football team. But the Cowboys made a point in 1960, and when they brought in Billy Mitchell in 1961, the Redskins did, then that was the last NFL team to integrate, while the whole AFL was basically integrated. So you got to respect the Cowboys for that particular reason. But I want to flip the camera one more time. I mean, they're playing catch here. This is awesome. I know I shouldn't be taking photos of other people, but I mean, this is the fun that you have here at this big stadium. Now, I want to talk about another thing, that is Super Bowl 52 being played in the Twin City, being Twin Cities at US Bank Stadium. I'm going to say this. I like this stadium a hell of a lot better than US Bank Stadium. There, I said it to you, Vikings fans. This place looks awesome. This is not like US Bank Stadium. There's things I don't like about US Bank Stadium, but everybody I've already talked to here at AT&T Stadium are really nice, really, really cool and friendly and whatnot. It's been great. I mean, it's been really a revelation. But that's the whole thing about the Dallas Cowboys is, this is America's team, and these are, this is a really, I'm just flabbergasted by the size of this thing. Now, yeah. By the way, the future of the Cowboys are definitely in place when you look at Dak Prescott and Zeke Elliott. Those guys, last year I was watching them on TV and they're like, those guys are good. I mean, those two guys. But I'll tell you what, this is a great stop. I'm glad I made this stop here at AT&T Stadium so I could check it out. I'm going to go, I'm on a self-guided tour, which means I'm on the field. That's enough for me from here. I may have a stop. I may have a surprise stop. So be forewarned.